That was dominant. Let's talk about it all today on Locked On Tigers.
You are Locked On Tigers, your daily Detroit Tigers podcast. Part of the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day.
What is up, everybody? Welcome back to another edition of Locked On Tigers. I'm, of course, your host, Scott Bentley. Today is Tuesday, April 23rd, 2024. Thank you so much for making Locked On Tigers your first listen every single day. We are free and available wherever you get your podcasts, including YouTube. Part of the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day. Today's episode is brought to you by Monopoly Go. I admit it, I have a competitive side, and it is a huge fan of Monopoly Go, the mobile hit twist on classic Monopoly. So join your friends and download Monopoly Go now for free in the App Store or Google Play. And the Detroit Tigers absolutely dominated the Tampa Bay Rays on Monday evening. That is so fun. Like, just what a weight lifted off of everyone's shoulders. Just to have that was so enjoyable. Like, that was so fun. You know, who knows? You know, they might go out today as you're listening to this and lay an egg. They might, but that's in the future. All right, they might lose every game the rest of the season. Who knows what the future holds? All right, that's why they play the games. But that was so enjoyable. That was so much fun. And to be completely honest, like, that's 2 games in a row, really, where they have had really solid all-around games as a team. That's good pitching, good bullpen work, good defense, good offense, beautiful baseball. I mean, Monday's game was legitimately that feels like it was one of the better all-around games this team has had in quite some time. You know, I'm not big on, like, this is going to be the best game they play all year on April 22nd. And I think that there's, like, recency bias. I'm not going to say this was, like, the best ball game they played in the last, 6 years or something. But you'll be pressed to find a better one in recent memory. Absolutely. So much went right. So little went wrong. And that makes for a very lighthearted, uplifting, upbeat, just fun show. So what did go right? Nearly everything. That's not much analysis, but it starts and maybe not ends, but it certainly starts with the performance from Tarik Skubal on the mound. This was, again, dominance. 6 innings, 3 hits, no runs, no walks, and 9 strikeouts. He has a 1.82 ERA on the young season. Like I said, this was complete and utter domination in this ball game. Honestly, I know a lot of people wanted to see him back out there for the 7th. I think if this was a 1-3, we'll call it, run ball game, maybe 1-4 run ball game, that he is, because this has been the best bullpen in baseball so far this year, and not a single person in that pen is better than what Tarik Skubal would have been in the 7th inning, even on pitch, 87 through 100 or whatever it would have been. He was absolutely dominant. This was the best his sinker, two-seamer, whatever you want to classify it as, has looked all season. This was maybe the most beautiful pitch mix I've seen in recent memory. Great fastballs to both handedness, right, to righties and lefties. Great changeup. Breaking stuff was awesome when it was called on. Right, like, we've seen outings where he's thrown so many sliders, and this one, he threw the slider. I think it was his 4th most thrown pitch. He threw it only 9 or 10 times. And when it was called upon, it was still really good, because it's a really good pitch, because all of his pitches are really good. Like, everything was just truly fantastic. He has zero fear in pounding the strike zone either, which got up early in counts. Just like he did everything right. He will absolutely be in the American League Cy Young race, assuming health. This is a guy who has 5 pitches that can all get not only strikes, but all get whiffs. He's unbelievable. And this was kind of the peak I guess we'll say. And again, like I think he could have gone 7 or 8 innings if called upon. I don't think that would have been any issue for him whatsoever. He was bullying the Rays. He was bullying them. That was forget you stuff on the mound. We saw, and again, it wasn't. It's not just like power, right? It's not just like he throws really hard. Like it is. It is beautiful sequencing. It is beautiful tunneling. It's reverse tunneling. It's like everything he does is so beautiful. And again, this was an outing where everything just clicked. The pitch mix was really honestly the most impressive part to me. Threw everything a lot. It just had hitters guessing the entire time. And that's a luxury that only pitchers that have 4 or 5 plus pitches can actually do and pull off effectively. He was remarkable. The bottom of the lineup in this outing produced. And that's something we haven't said too often this year. We keep playing the OPS game and or whatever, batting average game, whatever you want to play. It's not good for anything down there. But Parker Meadows home run, Javi Baez, we'll talk about a little bit more in a second. He had a great day. Jake Rogers, 2 for 3. Like this lineup is entirely different when they get any sort of production from the bottom of the lineup, any at all, and any even remote amount. Meadows, his other 3 at-bats still didn't look awesome, to be honest, and all 3 of them really have a long way to go before people have, like, turned a corner and are like, oh, yeah, like, they're here and their offense is back and whatever, but we will gladly take that level of production, gladly, from the bottom third of the lineup. Absolutely fantastic ABs down there, especially, again, by Javi and Jake Rogers, really specifically, and then Parker when, the home run kind of being the standout AB from him. Mark Canha, great day at the office. Again, there's a lot of good and not very much bad. But Mark Canha, great 3 for 4 with a homer. Obviously, the home run coming in the first inning. He has an 875 OPS on the season. He has had a beyond fantastic start to the season. And he's not going to be an 850 plus OPS hitter for this team throughout the entire course of the year. And we should all know that and understand that. But the thing that will always be prevalent is he just takes such professional at-bats and is just such a smart player and so smart in the batter's box specifically. It is really a joy to watch him at the plate right now, and I hope that lasts throughout the entire season at a minimum. They were hitting mistakes. I might shed a tear during this conversation. The team as a whole, there's a few exceptions we'll talk about later, but like the walks are great, right? And we talk about, I've mentioned this a few times this season, nonetheless, over the winter and during spring training and whatnot. Walks are great. I love them more than anybody. They're my favorite thing on the planet, but they don't matter if you don't actually take advantage of the hittable pitches you get in the strike zone ever, right? You need extra base hits. You need to be able to drive in multiple runs, drive in runs, period, right? So the patient approach doesn't matter if you don't take advantage of pitches over the heart of the plate. And they took advantage of hittable pitches all game. And it was absolutely beautiful. Absolutely beautiful. The approach was great in this one. We'll talk about the approach by the team a little bit later as well. This is 7 straight games with an RBI for Kerry Carpenter. That's something that, according to Bally, put that out there. I think Tigers PR, probably a lot of people at this point have put it out there. Miguel Cabrera in 2013 was the last time that we had a player record an RBI in 7 straight games. That is 11 years ago. So he has been absolutely seeing the ball really well. Only 1 for 5 in this game, but continues to just absolutely mash and continue to put the bat on the ball. He should get a lot of at-bats going forward. I'll put it that way. Let's keep the ball rolling. We are going to talk Javi Baez, who had a great day at the office. We will do all of that right after this. Going to talk to y'all about our friends over at Game Time. Game Time is the definition of clutch. I talk about them often and talk about how much I enjoy and appreciate them very often. They're now also an authorized ticket marketplace of Major League Baseball, which makes getting tickets even faster and easier. Prices on the Game Time app actually go down the closer you get to first pitch. So many reasons why Game Time is my favorite one, that being the most notable, the fact that I can buy tickets literally half an hour after the event starts and then go over to Comerica Park and watch the Tigers play anytime. But you can save up to 60% off by buying those last-minute tickets. They have flash deals as well, where you can get exclusive in-app deals on select seats ahead of a game or an event. They have all-in pricing, zone deals, which is a really cool feature as well. You choose a section and Game Time chooses the seats. You can save some money that way. They have the lowest price guarantee, where if you find a ticket in the same seat and row for less, they will credit you 110% of the difference. They are the best. They're all about saving you money and all about getting you, again, tickets at the last possible second if you need it. So take all the guesswork out of buying tickets with Game Time. Download the Game Time app, create an account, use code LOCKEDONMLB for $20 off of your first purchase. Terms apply. Again, create an account and redeem code LOCKEDONMLB for $20 off. Download Game Time today. Last minute tickets, lowest price, guaranteed. Also got to talk to y'all today about our friends over at Policy Genius. Policy Genius saves you time and money so you can provide your family with a financial safety net starting today. With Policy Genius, you will find life insurance policies that start at just $292 per year for $1 million of coverage. Some options offer same-day approval and avoid unnecessary medical exams. They can help you compare your options from top companies, and their licensed team of experts is on hand to talk you through it. That's really the biggest thing here. They have a team of award-winning agents who will walk you through the process step by step. They have no reason to steer you one direction or another, get you a certain program or with a certain, agency or whatnot. Like, they are truly just in it for you and finding your best needs. So check life insurance off your to-do list with Policy Genius. Head to policygenius.com/LockedOnMLB or click the link in the description to get your free life insurance quotes and see how much you could save. That's policygenius.com/LockedOnMLB. All right, everybody, welcome back here. Segment 2 of Locked On Tigers. Appreciate y'all for tuning in as always. Be sure to check out Locked On Sports Today as well, a free 24/7 sports streaming channel program for you every day with the biggest stories in sports. You can stream it today on YouTube. Again, that's Locked On Sports Today, 24/7 or for free in the Amazon Fire TV channels app. We will obviously be back tomorrow recapping Game 2 against the Tampa Bay Rays and talking about anything else surrounding the Tigers organization. As always, today, that is a very fun conversation because the Tigers played a phenomenal ball game on Monday night, 7-1 victory over the Tampa Bay Rays. And a lot of that had to do, we talked Tarik Skubal, probably the biggest factor in this game. But Javier Baez had a great day at the office on Monday. And I know that anytime you say anything remotely good about Javi, there's a bunch of people that get really upset and go like, oh, well, it's not worth it, et cetera, et cetera. This was a great game. And this is a few really solid performances by Javi in a row. If you date back, the last 3 or 4 games, he has been notably and noticeably a lot better. This was a pretty incredible game, just this in a vacuum. Elite defense, the one play short hop off his back foot, kind of fading away even, still got the runner. Absolutely incredible stuff. Incredible base running by him all game. Scoring on both of those plays is phenomenal heads-up baseball. He has such good baseball IQ out of the batter's box, I guess I'll say. Like, obviously his approach is his approach, but defensively and all the things we've seen over the years, like he really does know the game and do so many small things so well. He was 2 for 4 with an RBI in this one. It looks like he's seeing the ball really well at the plate. The chases aren't going to totally disappear. We need to make that abundantly clear. If you're like, oh my goodness, he's turning a corner, maybe he'll stop swinging at sliders in the other batter's box. Not going to happen. But when he can make pitchers pay on the balls that are actually in the strike zone, you get what you've gotten in the last 3 or 4 games. And that is hitting fastballs. That's hitting the ball hard to all fields. He has a ton of balls with over 100-mile-an-hour exit velocities just in the last 4 games. Look, we have a long way to go. I'm not declaring him back. I'm not saying he's going to be worth the money even, right? That we once put on or via the contract we gave him or whatnot. And we also know that he can be streaky, right? We can see him get really hot and then really cold. All of that is true. But when he is on, he is so exciting. He has the ability to be so exciting and so valuable to a team. We'll see how it looks going forward. But just for a night, just to realize that like this was fun, and he was a large reason as to why the Detroit Tigers won this ball game. Okay. We'll see. we'll see what happens going forward. Base running, just in general, we already talked about Javi, obviously, but Jake Runners as the trail runner. Jake Rogers, not Jake Runners. Jake Rogers as the trail runner as well in this game, advancing to third on a play that Javi scored. Very big heads up ball. If you've been listening for a long time, you know that the trail runner is something I talk about often when we're on offense and on defense, not allowing the trail runner to advance when you're on defense and trying to get the trail runner to advance on offense is so important and adds up so much over the course of over a game and a whole season. And the Tigers did really well. The whole team was really effectively aggressive on the base paths. And look, some games we're going to hate it. And that's unavoidable, right? We've already experienced that this year, right? We know that. But this is an example as to why they're so aggressive and why they do it. Because you have a lot of performances that look like this when you put the pressure on the defense. Jake Rogers catching, he's so fantastic behind the plate. He's so good. He's such a good catcher, man. If he can just hit even remotely a passable amount, he's going to be so valuable to this team. He's so good behind the plate. He calls a fantastic game. He's not afraid to adjust mid-game, which I think is the thing that I appreciate the most about how he calls games is he's not afraid to I'm just repeating myself, but make those adjustments, right? He's not afraid to, okay, like this isn't working, I want to try this, or like we saw, like with what we saw over the weekend, Casey Mize using his splitter super late into the ball game, things like that. He's so good. He's so good behind the plate. Also saw the arm a little bit, and something we talked about over the winter, maybe getting him to improve his stolen base numbers, his caught stealing numbers. So good for him. Joey Wentz, the last person we'll talk about here in this what went well, what went right, whatever you want to say. Joey Wentz, 1 inning, 1 hit, no runs, no walks, 2 strikeouts. Joey Wentz has a 0.87 ERA on the season. Obviously, that's not going to last, but he is not giving up hard contact at all, right? And I still have a ton of question marks around his fastball. It still frustrates me at times. But as a whole, this dude is noticeably better. And this is why he was not, DFA'd on opening day. And this is why they wanted to make sure he got an opportunity in the bullpen going into the season, because he has been really solid. You go look at the numbers, go look at his Savant page. However you take in, you just watch him, eye test. If you don't believe in, like numbers and stats and whatever, however you take in the game of baseball, Joey Wentz has been really solid. And I think, like I said yesterday, I think AJ Hinch is using him really intelligently in really good situations to kind of get the best out of him. But he's just not giving up hard contact at all. Like at all. He is not giving up any hard contact this year. And that's a great sign for a lefty that can go multiple innings. So 2 thumbs up for you, Joey Wentz. Hopefully this can, you can carve out a nice role for himself and kind of just be a good lefty reliever out of this pen for a long time. Let's talk about some things that didn't go super well in this ball game. There's only a couple. This was, again, a really, really solid ball game by the Detroit Tigers. Then we will talk about everyone's favorite segment, Stuff, which I still haven't found a better name for. Got some great ideas, though, some great feedback. So keep plugging away and keep trying to keep thinking of different names for that segment, because it can't just be Stuff forever. Okay, let's get into all of that right after this. Got to talk to y'all again about our friends over at Monopoly Go. I need you all to listen up. I have a huge announcement. I've been putting in a lot of time and tracking all the leaderboards every day, keeping my eyes on the scores, putting all of my heart into it, and I'm super proud to announce that I am finally on top of the Monopoly Go leaderboards. That's right. I'm obviously talking about the game that has been downloaded over 150 million times. It's a great mobile twist on classic Monopoly. You can play anywhere, anytime. You explore hundreds of Monopoly boards from Las Vegas to the moon, all while raking in a huge fortune. You can charge rent to iconic properties just like in Monopoly, and you can charge your friends on your iconic properties as well. Or you can just go after their Monopoly money by pulling bank heists and taking wrecking balls to their landmarks. My favorite part is the leaderboards, like I said, where you can truly see who the best Monopoly tycoons are and who has gone bankrupt. So go get yourself on the charts and download Monopoly Go now for free in the Apple Store and Google Play. All right, everybody, welcome back. Your third and final segment of Locked On Tigers. Appreciate y'all greatly for tuning in. As always, a great ball game by your Detroit Tigers on Monday night, a 7-1 victory. There were a few things. Obviously, this wasn't the beautiful thing about baseball is a truly perfect game doesn't actually exist, right? Or else it would never end because there is no clock. So if there was a truly perfect game, it would just go on forever. And I guess on the pitching side of things, there obviously is quite literally a perfect game that is obtainable. But on a team perspective, people are going to get out eventually, and there's always things you can improve on. That's one of the beautiful things about it. Spencer Torkelson, unfortunately, is something and someone rather who did not perform extremely well in this ballgame. 0 for 5 with 2 strikeouts. Took a 91, 92 mile an hour fastball that could not have been more right down the middle of the plate. And, earlier I said we were going to talk a little bit about the team's approach at the game. The mindset was clearly to swing at fastballs early. And I'm sure that's a scouting report thing they had on the, just the opponent and the staff in general, maybe, but Liddell specifically. But whatever, that memo did not get to Torkelson throughout this game. Took multiple very hittable pitches over the heart of the plate, and that first pitch fastball is going to be in my dreams. Like that is a pitch that should still be in orbit, and it's frustrating to see that. I'm sure he's frustrated by it too. And then 0-2, and then he's striking out, swinging at a changeup that's bouncing, and he's taking the pitches right down the middle. Just not a great day at the office for him. But the team's approach was obviously great. Riley Green to start off the game, right, and he flew out, but like he was a first pitch swinger because he got a fastball over the heart of the plate. Mark Canha early, right, drove a ball only a couple pitches into his at bat. Like it was working throughout the whole team. And Torkelson just unfortunately looked lost and just wasn't on the same page as everybody else. So, just didn't have it. Was off on a fastball in the 9th inning as well. Just unfortunately didn't have it after, again, a weekend where you got a little bit more optimistic about maybe the fact that he was turning a corner. So hopefully he can get back on the horse on Tuesday. Colt Keith's offense, he made a really good play defensively, but his offense 0 for 4 with 2 strikeouts. I thought he was going to hit his first homer. He was like feet away from his first major league homer. It was right there. Look, I was very, very frustrated about the fact that Colt Keith was not called up last year. And we talked about it a boatload on this show. This is why. This is why. Every single level Colt Keith has been at, he struggled early and then adjusted and been incredible. I would have much rather he took his lumps and struggled a little bit in September of last year in games that ultimately didn't matter versus start off this season April, we're trying to, make a run at the division, every game matters type of thing. Now, there's nothing that says that he wouldn't have still struggled in April this year. I'm not saying that you call him up in September and magically he's just, raking right now. Not what I'm saying at all. That's not really how baseball works anyway. But just with the track record of his development and how he has struggled, and then once his timing is down, it clicks and he's off like crazy, right? And he rakes. And I'm fully expecting that to happen. I know some people want him sent down. I'm okay with the conversation involving Parker Meadows getting sent down. I think he looks lost at the plate, to be honest with you, even with the home run in this game. He still had 3 strikeouts. Colt Keith, I think, is putting together better at bats. It's just squaring up the baseball and timing is not there. I will see, right? If he still has an OPS in the 400s 3 weeks from now, then that's going to be a different conversation. But I kind of want to see at least the month of April, if not maybe even a week into May, out with Colt Keith because of his track record of slow start and then boom, like firecracker after that slow start at every level he's been promoted to. But this is just kind of why I wanted him to get some experience in September of last year. But him being a plus defender helps ease this a ton, right? It helps this so significantly. And I think that shouldn't be lost either. I give him a lot of props for being as good as he's been defensively. Shelby Miller didn't look great in this one, to be honest. Really small thing, right? In the grand scheme of things, that isn't really important. But I didn't think he looked very good at all, to be honest. 1 inning, 2 hits, 1 run, 1 walk, 1 strikeout, and then obviously the home run against. Didn't like his fastball really at all. No splitter. There's been like a lot of outings this year where he hasn't really had it. That kind of was like a big reason for his success. It's kind of weird to me that it's not being utilized as much. I don't know. That's it. It was a fantastic game. Those are the only 3 kind of holes you can poke in this ball game. Besides that, fantastic victory. Let's talk stuff. Vierling pulled a fastball for a hit. Love that. Just want to give that again. That's what the stuff segment is kind of for. Just small things that I noticed that I really liked. Really liked Vierling pulling a fastball. Tigers bullpen, we talked about it earlier, has been elite. I think Codify tweeted out, posted, whatever the heck it's called now. The Tigers bullpen ERA. I don't know what it is after the Shelby Miller home run against, but it's still sub 2 and been one of the best in all of baseball. It's been absolutely unbelievable. So wanted to give credit there. The Tigers are now 9-3 on the road. 9-3. Be better at home. This has been such a weird thing the last 2 seasons. Like why, or 3 seasons? Like what? Why are we not as good at home? Like you play 81 games there. You don't play even close to that many games anywhere else, right? You have to establish some home field advantage. But in a positive light, being good on the road is a great thing. And so we will gladly take that. The Flying Tigers were at this game. That was super cool to see. You saw Max Clark kind of dripped out there. I know, I don't know. I don't have a issue with it. We'll see. He's been heating up lately too. I know he got off to the slow start this season, but his last week or so has been really good. Hit his first homer, making a lot of adjustments with his swing, which is why the numbers are going to be kind of inconsistent. But once he gets comfortable and finds a nice, I'll call it a home for his mechanics up there, I think that he could really take off. So hopefully that is a sign of things to come. But yeah, just cool to see the team there, like chopping it up with the major leaguers and talking, just in BP, they were talking together a lot. And obviously Max Clark's going to get some camera time as he always does. We saw the bling and everything. He's drippy. He's dripped out. Respect, mad respect. Okay, I think that's pretty much it. Oh, actually, I did want to bring this up. Just like something I laughed at. Did anyone watch the Yankees Athletics game on Monday? That umpire put up an all-time show performance. That was legitimately like, if I was a Yankees fan or an A's fan, if I was an A's fan, I'd be upset about a lot right now. But if I was a fan of either of those teams, I would have been probably upset because it was a ridiculous umpire performance, but like all around. But as a third party that is not subjected to Yankees or Oakland Athletics baseball, thankfully, that was hilarious. This dude ejected Aaron Boone after a fan was chirping him. Okay. Thought that he literally, and then he doubled down on it. He was like, yeah, I don't know. Something was coming from the dugout. So I just ejected the manager. That's how that works for sure. And then just had the most ridiculous strike zone. I'm so pumped for umpire scorecards on Tuesday because like it was a preposterous strike zone on top of that. Like there was one spot up and away, fastballs up and away, that both teams, Rodon and JP Sears, were just constantly throwing fastballs up and away because it was about like 5 inches off the plate. We're all just being called strikes in that spot. It was a ridiculous umpire performance. And that's, yeah, like we all bought tickets to see you. Welcome to the show. So I just wanted to point that out. The next 2 games against the Tampa Bay Rays, who are now 12-12 on the season, both will be at 6:50, obviously in Tampa, and obviously 6:50 being PM in the Eastern time zone. Kenta Maeda versus Ryan Pepio hasn't had a fantastic year. I think that this is another game that hopefully the Tigers can play a good all-around game. The biggest thing surrounding this ball game is very obviously going to be, how does Kenta Maeda look indoor? Maybe get, some of the, I don't know if he's not very good in cold weather. I don't know. But he does struggle in April every year. We talked about that last start. And hopefully, as we get closer to the end of April and, we're indoors, there's not as many elements to kind of, fight or whatnot. Hopefully that this can be his first kind of, he an okay outing earlier in the year, but hopefully we can get a solid outing out of him. I think that would kind of calm a lot of the fan base if we could just see one, right? Just see one solid outing from him. But the team's been playing really good ball. And then on Wednesday, we have Jack Flaherty versus old friend Tyler Alexander, who's having a very Tyler Alexander season. He's got like a 4.7 ERA. Is about what Tyler Alexander is. Isn't going to walk too much, going to pound the strike zone, but not going to get a lot of strikeouts either, except for one beautiful day. And what was that, 2018 or 19, when he had 9 straight strike. That may have even been 2020. I don't remember. But this is a series that now, after this, kind of really announcing and just, I don't know, showing your authority in game one, making your presence felt. You have an opportunity to win this series, and please take advantage of it. You don't have any reason not to. Thanks for making Locked On Tigers your first listen every single day. Shout out to the everydayers that do tune in every day. We will be back tomorrow talking about game 2 of this series and anything else that happens around the Tigers organization. All right. Peace and love. Going to Derby's dope. I'll catch y'all then, baby. Go Tigers.